Well, this was a thing. Avatar is one of those movies that, while big and influential when it came out, as time goes by it becomes less and less special. What do I mean by that? Well, let's talk about the story first. In the far-flung future, Earth is a dying planet. Pollution-filled, overpopulated, all that jazz. And no one has it worse than Jake Sully, an ex-Marine who's lost all functions of his legs, who mostly spends his time in seedy bars or his dreary apartment. That is, until he's taken to the moon of Pandora and drafted into the Avatar program, a scientific initiative that transfers human consciousness into cloned bodies of the local people, the Na'vi, all in the hopes of opening negotiations with them to collect their world's valuable metal, unobtainium. But when Jake meets native girl Neytiri, she begins showing him their ways and, in doing so, helps him find a new lease on life. But as it becomes more and more clear the people in charge of the program never had diplomatic intentions to begin with, will Jake turn on his superiors to save his newfound alien family? Is this movie basically Pocahontas in space? The answer to both is yes. Before we get to what makes this movie less special as time goes by, let's talk about what I liked in this movie. The world of Pandora, even 13 years later as of this video, is still stunning to look at. Its bizarre and exotic plant and wildlife, its vast alien landscapes, the world building behind it, it all comes together to create a really rich world that you just really want to visit. And I like how it uses ideas such as convergent evolution, i.e., if it works for one thing, it'll work for another, to create many of Pandora's life forms. I also thought some of the tech was cool, like the mechs. And I honestly do like Jake's journey in the film. While basic and predictable, I still found myself engaged by it. And I thought the action in this was really, really good. It was truly exhilarating and intense. And Quaritch is just a despicable bastard. I love him for that. With all that said, let's get to what I think drags this movie down. Back in 2009, there was no movie like this before. But now that big CGI action fests are everywhere, this movie loses a lot of what made it special and unique. And as such, with no curtain to hide behind, a lot of its problems become much more apparent. Many of the characters are one-dimensional, the whole liar revealed shtick is still as tired as ever, and yes, the story and message in this movie is really obvious and really unsubtle. In the end, Avatar is just one of those movies that's hard to appreciate as more time goes by. Not just because it was something that you had to see in 2009 on the big screen, but outside of a beautiful world and some good action, there's really not much else that it offers. And as a result, the movie itself has just become something akin to an acquired taste. I know a lot of people like it, clearly the sequel is doing amazing, and I'm truly happy for you if you do enjoy it, but 6 out of 10. I'm glad I watched it, if for the world and a couple good scenes, but for me, this is one Dance with Wolves I won't be returning to in the near future. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Undead Sonic 89 for his courteous $30 pledge on Patreon. Through his support, both this channel and my second one can keep making bigger and better projects. Thank you tremendously for your support.